Well, welcome to the Dr. Reverend Lee Pan Show, 17-7. Yeah, I'm dragging this one on because I want to save 18 for something special. I might do a video for Halloween, but I probably won't release it until after Halloween. But today I just want to talk about a few things here and there, like little microorganisms and stuff like that. Few various other things that might pop in my head. I don't know how long I'll get to stay on here, but I'll talk until I get cut off. I might make it for an hour, I might not. But I want to talk about extremophiles. Extremophiles are little microorganisms that can pretty much live in basically unbearable conditions to any other living life form on this planet. You can find them around the volcanic areas where there's a lot of hot underwater volcanic area happening. I mean, really extremely hot underwater temperatures, and they can survive in extremely hot temperatures. But they can also survive in extremely cold temperatures. Now, it's my understanding that a few years ago, NASA actually sent some of these extremophiles up on one of their missions, and they exposed them to the outside of the ship. So they put them in this tray, basically, and they just fastened them to the outside of the ship and left them out there outside in space, which, there's no oxygen in space, and it's like minus 500 degrees in space. So anything that gets exposed to anything in space is like instantly frozen. And then, so these things were out there for a long, long period of time during the mission, and they were subjected to this outer space with no protection other than just the tray that held them inside. Now, when they came back, they obviously went out, took them, and brought them back into the ship, brought them back down here to Earth. And then the scientists, like I was talking to you about the other day about cryostasis and cryogenics and all that, the scientists were going to observe the condition that they were put under and what was the results. So, and it ends up that these things actually survived being exposed on the to outer space on the outside of the ship for the whole time it was out there. They were actually still alive. So now they got this idea of extremophiles that they're going to take and takes the DNA, some of this DNA from these extremophiles, and actually spice that into the human genetic makeup, much like when we first designed the human races and all the other races and beings and stuff long, long ago when my family first came to this planet and other planets throughout the galaxy, because that's just what my family does, is create and build civilizations out of things that wasn't there before. And I could literally take a planet that's not habitable, and I can turn it into a habitable planet. And it's really not that hard. It really don't take as long as what you think it was. You just have to use the right method to do it in. For like galactic mechanics, I have galactic mechanics that I have created my own form of. And I know you humans don't have galactic mechanics yet. I do not believe. But basically, I can take and move planets around and moons or whatever I want, and I can put them in any position I want. It's just a matter of calculating the mathematics on it and to know how far to position them from certain other bodies and stuff, so you don't end up with a big old mess. But I can basically rearrange the whole entire planetary system into a new giant. I know you're not going to understand this, and you're probably going to think I'm insane, and you're probably going to laugh, but I can basically turn the planetary system into a gigantic magnetic engine. And I can also create a gigantic pocket of a magnetic force field around our whole entire planetary system by just rearranging the planets back in the order that they originally were in a long time ago. And by doing this, it's basically like take a clock, like a clockmaker. You know, a lot of things that we've hidden throughout time is in like little sayings, like I told you, a stitch in time saves nine. Well, the mathematical equation for the universe is nine, and a stitch in time will figure it out. Clockmakers, the gears and everything, the way they work is basically the same way that orbits and planetary systems all work, you know. So what you're basically doing, like you line up the gear system in this clock to set the correct time and how you're going to keep your time and everything throughout the year or whatnot. I'm basically realigning all the planets and moons and whatnot into the correct positions where everything's going to be back in time with the universe. Okay, but everything got thrown out a long time ago when I told you about the mother planets, because we got another orbit that actually that's alternate from ours, and the other planets like Nibiru and them, don't laugh, whatever, but it's true. With Nibiru and them, there are other planets. They go through this other orbit system that goes way out and comes back around. But it's basically like every 3,600 years. But you know, you got to give or take on some of those, because you know every 13,000 years they cause the planets to flip the poles. So you add up 36 times that, and it ain't going to equal out right. But like I told you, when the planets, like all planets do, they go in and out on their orbit. So you know, it'd be 3,600 years, 1 year. One time it came. Next time might be 450 years when it comes back by, and so forth, until you get back down from the 13,000 mark. When they're coming around the 13,000 mark, and that's when they're close enough to do the damage that makes the poles flip. What made that other planet hit our planet long ago, like I told you. And then it goes back up as it goes back out of the orbit again and sets back out to the original orbit. Then it takes 3,600 years, so it goes in and out as it comes around in that cycle. And I told you it used to be a binary system because it's got a red dwarf sun that it actually has, and we have our sun. But actually, it used to be a trinary system. That's how come there's a black hole in the Milky Way galaxy, because that's what black holes come from, is suns that had turned supernova. So we were actually a trinary star system with three suns. And then that one a long time ago blew up, which I believe has probably set the other one off into an opposite orbit, and that's why our planet split up. And then some of our planets are now on that orbit, and we just intersect every once in a while. But we're also finding out that there's also possibilities that there are other planets and other orbit systems and stuff that also come back around. So there may be more than just two orbiting planetary systems that actually intersect together. There might be multiple ones, but we're still working on that. Anyway, back to the microorganisms, or these extremophiles. So if they spice the DNA into the human bodies, that's going to make it to where you're going to have more endurance. You're going to be able to withstand incredible amounts of heat. You're going to be able to stand incredible freezing temperatures, and you'll be able to survive. And you might come to the point where you won't even need spacesuits in space anymore to even go outside or anything. You'll be able to go out and work on the ship or whatever and come back in and not even need a spacesuit. And much like these synthetic beings I was telling you that they were working on not too long ago with synthetic DNA that they created with the 172, I think it was more amino acids, synthetic amino acids that they created in order to make this building blocks and everything take off, make it feasible for this DNA strand to even work. So if they took that and they introduced this extremophile DNA into that, then just imagine that would be, like I was telling you, that's like the first step towards the Greys. Well, think about with the Greys. Whenever you see the Greys, they're not wearing anything. They're not wearing anything. When people describe them, they're not wearing no suits or nothing because they don't need them. Because they don't get cold, they don't get hot. They can withstand that because of the extremophiles that's been spiced into their DNA. So basically what you're looking at when you talk about the Greys, you're talking about a future version of where this planet's going to be going for beings that are going to be existing in it. And they're basically coming back in time and snatching some of you up and whatnot and experimenting you on and trying to figure out, what's going on, because you all died off a long time ago. And they're curious because basically you're their creator. So they're coming back to study you. Maybe even restart your population in the future because they take some of you back and start breeding. Maybe they're even turning you into slaves because maybe these lizard mammaloids are gonna are going to implant their brains down in much like a computer. When you take a computer and you got a computer joined together, well, you can transfer files from one computer to another. Well, you could do the same thing with the human brain and human consciousness, but the soul don't go. But the human consciousness though goes. But if you know how to make your soul move from one body to another, your ka, your spirit, whatever you want to call it, then once you download all your memories from that into that, you could do that. But there is no sense in doing that because everything that you are is basically energy, and everything is recorded within that energy. Everything's recorded on waves. It's like, you got sound waves, you got light waves, you got vibrations and stuff. Everything is a wave. It's particles. It's waves. It's so anything that's recorded on the energy, much like I told you with the crystals, that one of the last recordings, how everything gets recorded in that. Well, the same thing with the energy wave. Everything that you are is within that energy, and you will always be that. You just got to remember how to retain it. Now, the universe and you are all tied together, so you're like one big giant computer network system. So the computer retains all the knowledge as well. So everything that there is to know, because like I've told you, we didn't discover mathematics. I mean, we didn't create mathematics. We discovered mathematics. Mathematics has always been here. Everything is mathematics. You're mathematics. I'm mathematics. Everything's mathematics. Okay? So everything's already here, and all the knowledge that ever was and ever will be is in the universe. All the building blocks that ever was or ever will be is already in the universe. And like I told you, when it seeds planets and stuff, and you got the right circumstances, that's when the magic happens, and you get different forms of life depending on the different areas that the life evolves in, just like different areas on this planet that I explained to you, how people change and over time evolve in different areas, and this is what forms what they're going to be. Now, I know a lot of people are probably saying, well, that theory don't hold up because, if my kid never grew up on a mountain, but he's a pretty husky kid. Well, okay, but maybe one of his ancestors grew up on a mountain, because you always have throwbacks. You always have, it could be 100 years. They'll tell you 100 years, but I'm going to tell you what, it could be 100 years. It could be 1,000 years. It could be a freaking million years later. It doesn't matter. Anybody that's ever been in your bloodline will pop out. Those traits will pop out somewhere down the line. Just like, I've got all kinds of people. I'm related to everybody. So any of my kids could have a black child or a Mexican colored child or a Native American looking child or a Chinese looking child. And they'd never even have to have sex with any of them people to have them children, because we have that in our DNA makeup already. And sometimes DNA traits get hidden within inside your body and stuff and inside your genetic code, and then they might go 4, 5, 10, 20 generations and they'll come back out. That's why some people, they'll have a lot more hair on their body than other people, because it's a genetic throwback from the time that we used to have hair on our body, but we don't need it anymore, so we adapt it to not having it. And I explained that to you. But that don't mean that there are not people still born that are really super hairy, because that's a genetic throwback from the time that we had that, or you had that, I should say. So you take these microorganisms, and you can do a lot of things with DNA splicing, like well, look at the battle armor that we've been using for about the last 2 decades, I think it was, so far. That they took the DNA, they spliced some DNA, a gene out of the spiders for making the web, and they actually put it inside of goats. So when the goats produced the milk, they had the spider DNA spliced inside of them. So the milk actually had a spider webbing substance inside the milk that they produce. Now they took this milk and they boiled it down and they processed it into a polymer plastic. Now that's the plastic that we use on the battlefields for our armor plating and stuff like that. For body armor and stuff, because it's lightweight, but yet it's stronger than steel. Like I was telling you, that stuff that we have is stronger than steel now. We don't even need steel anymore, but they don't want to stop using it, because they make money on it. And their families got all this equipment and stuff they'd invested in it over hundreds of years doing it, so they don't want to ever lose anything. They're not going to give up anything. They're too greedy for that. That's all they care about, is what they can have, and that's the problem. We can't be like that. That's not an advanced civilization. You can't value life you can't value possessions over life. You can't value shiny objects over life. You can't do that. You're living in sin. You're creating sin every day, and you need to stop. But anyway, so they took the spiders from DNA spiders from the gene of the DNA that created the webbing, and they put it inside this goat so that the milk created this webbing, so they could turn it into this hard polymer plastic that's bulletproof. But you could use it for other things, space shuttles or whatnot, or anything like that. There's a lot of plastic products coming out now, but it says harder than metal, so we don't even need steel or metal or none of that anymore. So there's a lot of things you can do with DNA splicing, but you got to be careful, because you're messing with the natural order of things. And when you start doing stuff that's synthetic, then that's completely out there in nowhere land, because nobody knows what's going to happen. Because now if these synthetic beings breed with you, what's going to come out of that? Oh, I know they're probably going to say they made it so they can't breed, but life will happen. You cannot stop it. Life will find a way to exist. It always has, it always will. And it doesn't need your help. It's been doing it for endless. The number is just so long, there's just not even a name for the equation, because it's uncalculable. But yeah, you gotta quit messing around with stuff like that. You guys gotta quit playing with things that you have not got a clue on what you're doing. And you can't just say, well, I got a theory, so we can go with it. Well, a theory is not going to save everybody's ass when everybody's dead. Theory is worthless when everybody's dead. Anybody could have a theory. Anybody could pull an idea out of their frickin' ass. But that doesn't mean it's going to work. Wow. But anyway, yeah, I just thought I'd explain that to you. Now, another thing too, now like these nanobot technology that they're, wait, back up. Talking about metal and bulletproof stuff and stuff like that. The military came out with, not too long ago, they came out with this. Because I go on military sites, I go and talk with them guys, I talk with NASA, I talk with everybody. You got to get to know people. You got to get out there and get educated. Pieces of paper don't make you educated. Knowledge makes you educated. Pieces of paper, use that to wipe your butt with. But knowledge is what makes you smart. A piece of paper don't make you smart. A degree don't make you smart. Sitting in the college don't make you smart. Sitting there behind a desk listening to some frickin' idiot run his mouth or just sat behind his desk doing nothing, because that's what most of them do nowadays. They don't even help the students. Students basically teach themselves. So what they're there for, I have no idea, because you don't need them, because books have the same knowledge in them no matter where you read them. You can learn it anywhere. It doesn't have to be behind a desk. It doesn't have to be with some idiot sitting in front of you behind a desk doing nothing but twiddling their thumbs and getting paid. It doesn't have to be in a big fancy college or a big fancy university. You don't need a piece of paper to make you intelligent. You need the will to learn to become intelligent. That's what you need. Most of the people that I have working for me, I don't hire my people by a piece of paper. I hire my people for what they are. I give a shit less what that piece of paper is. Most people got a piece of paper, it ain't worth toilet paper. They don't know nothing. They spent their whole time in college partying and stuff and cheated to get their scores and just drug by, and then you got all these doctors and everybody out there always getting malpractice lawsuits and everything because they don't have a clue of what they're doing, because their life was nothing but a big party and a joke. A piece of paper means nothing. How many lawsuits do you see these so-called professionals being sued on all the daily basis and everything? These so-called, $500,000, $1 million, $10 million. I don't care if it's $100,000 million education. If you don't want to learn, you're not going to learn. And a piece of paper does not make you what you are. Knowledge makes you what you are. And all you need to do is have the want to learn to become whatever you want to be, and a piece of paper means nothing other than it's just a way for them to make more money. Now they can charge you to go to this fancy college and fancy university to make this piece of paper available to you so that you have a right to practice your knowledge as a profession that they're going to charge you taxes for practicing. So basically, it's all the paper is just to track where your money's coming from and how much they can take of it. That's what it is. That's all it is. Because a piece of paper does not make you smart. So anyway, I'm reading this thing, and they made these bulletproof vests, and they were bragging about how these bulletproof vests, they were like, oh, wow, that's some kind of deal where they're like magnetic little balls or something. So when a metal bullet comes at the vest, all these balls go like nanobots, go crowding over to the one area and protects that area so it reflects the bullet. And I'm like, well, okay, and 2 seconds of looking at it, and that's about all it took me, 2 seconds. I'm like, okay, well, what if the bullet ain't made of metal? What if I have a polymer plastic bullet? Them little balls, the magnetic balls, ain't going to do nothing. They're just going to sit there, and that polymer plastic bullet's going to go right through, and the person's going to be dead. What if I shoot them with a ballista, which is ancient giant crossbow kind of thing? You see it on the movies during the Renaissance movies when they're killing dragons with them. They shoot like a giant spear arrow kind of thing. So okay, so you got these little magnetic balls in there that comes together with metal. Okay, what if I shoot you with a giant stake that's made of wood? What good's that going to do? It's not made of metal. Sometimes you guys spend millions and billions of dollars creating this stupid shit that takes 2 seconds to say, hey, that's not going to work. And you've wasted all these years and money invested of our taxes into building this idiotic bullshit that we shouldn't even need anyway, because if you were an advanced civilization, you wouldn't be having war and killing each other. So, and I'm tired of going over that, but still, it's just a simple fact. I mean, it's crazy. But anyway, nanobots. Nanobots are little robots, because the body, the human body, or any being, they have minerals and metals and stuff that's already in their bodies anyway, because we're a little part of everything. Like I told you, we're a mixture of chemicals. Everybody breaks down the chemicals in mathematics. Mathematics and chemicals is what you are. Vibration and frequency shapes you and everything. But nanobots, we have natural nanobots already in our body. Okay. We don't need little robots running around in our body. We have natural nanobots, organic nanobots that has always existed in our body already. This is how come when you break bones, they mend. Because your natural organic little nanobots go to work on where you have your broken area at, your broken bone or whatnot, and they mend it. They heal it, they rebuild it, they restructure it. Actually, if your body's functioning correctly and not being poisoned by GMOs and synthetic crap and all these poison medicines and pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, and genocide stuff I keep telling you they push on you, your body rebuilds your skeleton. You have a new skeleton every 10 years because your natural organic nanobots are constantly rebuilding your bones and everything. And they go to your wounds and they heal your wounds and your bruises and whatever. I mean, that's natural little robots, organic robots. And this is where they got the idea for these synthetic metal little robots they want to put in there. And the only reason why they want to put in there is because they can control them and they can tell them what to do, and they can just wreak havoc on your body. They could literally go into your brain and take over you and control you like a organic robot, because you got these little nanobots inside you that they injected in you that are little tiny robots and they can take the metals and stuff that's in your body and create more of them so they could create more. So they only got to shoot a little needle full than you would have shot or something, and now they're exposing your body and you wouldn't even know they're in there. Say like with a vaccination shot or something, you wouldn't even know they're in there. And now they're rebuilding and rebuilding and rebuilding, just much like replicators. They're replicating themselves. I don't know if you ever watched. I don't get in trouble for using the name, but Stargate. I love Stargate. I love Stargate, Stargate Atlantis. I love all of Stargates. But they're like replicators, and they're rebuilding themselves in your body. Which is another shows that are trying to tell you something if you pay attention. And the Stargate, they found that in the real pyramid there, on Osiris's pyramid. I don't know if you were watching that special or not, where they filmed it where they were going in this pyramid, and they filmed it where they were going all through there, and then just before they went in the vault, they take a break, and then when they come back and they're in the vault, they say there was nothing in the vault, but yeah, once they get in the vault, everything's pre-recorded. It was all being filmed live up until they went in the vault. Then after they went in the vault, then all of a sudden it's pre-recorded. Well, of course, because they went in and cleaned it all out, and then they went in there and then recorded it, and then they went back, and then they went in there like they went in there and first seen it, and well, there wasn't nothing here. But yeah, that was pre-recorded because they had already went in there and cleaned everything out. So only part of that show was live footage. Same way when they did that with Al Capone's vaults and stuff, the hidden vaults. Everything was live up to the point to where they went in the vault. But once they went in the vault, then it was all pre-recorded. It even tells you so right on the recording if you read it when they're watching it. So it's just all lies and stuff that's been hidden. So now that you got all these replicators in there that they're putting in your body that they can control you with. They can make you go murder people and shit. You wouldn't even realize you did it because you're just a robot now with these things in there, and you don't need them because your natural body has these already, and this is why they're destroying, like I told you, they're destroying our natural foods, our natural medicines and stuff, because all that stuff makes us where we can be, like, the way I eat stuff, I can withstand extreme heats, I can withstand extreme colds way more than anybody else. Nothing like with an extremophile, don't get me wrong. But still, I can condition everybody's body just by feeding you the right foods and the right medicines, organic Mother Nature creation foods and medicines, fruits, vegetables, and barks, and leaves, and nuts, and berries, and whatever else. I mean, it's just everything, like I've told you before, on this planet is here for a reason, and they're destroying it, and you need to stop them because they are killing you every time they do this. They are killing you. They are making you sicker. They are making you weaker because you are nothing but expendable slaves. And you're becoming too many to handle. So now it's time to slaughter the flock and keep a few breeders aside. Even if they even want breeders anymore, because now they got these synthetic new beings that are going to be the new version of you. They'll be the new slaves, and we won't even need you anymore. So, and the only reason why I say we sometimes is because I'm related to these frickin' monsters, so I have to accept responsibility for what they do. This is why I'm here. This is why I fight for you, because, I have told you in previous recordings, when your family is doing something horrible and wrong, and it's hurting and killing and destroying other people's lives, it's your responsibility to protect them, people. Because no matter what, they're your family, so you're responsible for everything they do. So everything that they do, I have to take responsibility for, even though I'm not doing it myself. They are my blood. And this is what they are doing to you people, and I am not going to stand for it. So yes, when I say we, please don't misunderstand me, because I am nothing like them. But I do have to take some of the blame, because they are my blood. And this is why I am here fighting for you, because it's wrong. Above all others, I have to fight more, because they're related closer to me than the rest of you. You are all related to me. family, but they are closer than the rest of you. And that alone makes it my responsibility to stand up and fight to protect you. Even if it means they will kill me, it does not matter. This is my responsibility because they are my blood and they are doing wrong to you. And I will not stand for it. None of my family on my side, the Serpent Clan, has ever stood for this frickin' bullshit. When we were in charge, everybody was happy. It was a paradise. When they came back, because, they left, we were supposed to create slaves and stuff. Well, we created you. Unfortunately, we fell in love with you. And we didn't want to keep you a slave. So we gave you knowledge. And we protected you. We had children with you. We crossbred with you. We became you. We became part of you. I am part of you. And then when they came back and realized that we weren't using you for slaves, that we actually were working together, and we were teaching you knowledge and building civilizations, and like the Tower of Babel, and in some of your religion, take the Tower of Babel, or we all worked together and built this giant tower to please the gods. But when the gods came back, it made them angry. So they destroyed the tower, and they made everybody so they were different, and they made everybody speak different languages so they couldn't communicate, so everybody would fight because they couldn't understand each other. Don't you get it? This is exactly what you're living. This is exactly what they did, and it's as simple as fact. You don't have to snap your fingers in a hat and right there instantly. It didn't have to happen instantly. We've had hundreds of thousands of years. They've had hundreds of thousands of years to reprogram you into believing this is what happened. When all they did was they came in and they literally wiped almost everybody out, and they kept a few breeding stocks so that way they didn't have to start over from the get-go, from scratch, because they're too freaking lazy, and we're the ones that had all the knowledge. So, they wiped everybody out and they segregated you and put you all over the planet in different spots. The planet all the continents all got split up and all got relocated, and they segregated you in all these areas all over the frickin' planet, taught you all different languages so you couldn't communicate to each other. And now the problem is, now you're all starting to communicate and people are starting to learn each other's languages, and now we got the internet and people are learning that it's all a bunch of frickin' lies. And this is why they want to take your internet away, because the internet of nowadays is the tree of knowledge of yesterday. And they don't want slaves to have knowledge, because like I've told you, intelligent slaves don't want to be slaves. And you are getting to be so many, they got to start segregating you again, and they got to start narrowing down the population and murdering you again and killing more of you again so they can control you more. And this is why they're building walls again. And this is why they're enforcing bans on travel bans again, because you're going back to the dark ages, people. This is why your church is joining your governments again. This is why your churches are getting arms with weapons and military actions and stuff. It's because we're going right back to the same path where they're going to start dragging people out of their homes, and they're already dragging people out of their homes, and they're throwing them in cages. They're throwing children in cages. Next, it's going to be the guillotine. Oh, guess what? They're already there. They already got guillotines. They got 30,000 of them, and they've been whopping people's heads off and putting them in these mass graves and sending them to China and other places for food. They might even be in your food. Did you know most of the schools nowadays, the meat that's in their lunches and stuff, that's not meat. That's insects, because insects have a higher protein than what actual meat has. So for like 2 decades now, they've been using insects in your school food. You're eating insects in school. Ugh. These people are disgusting. They're nasty. They're monsters, and you need to wake up and see what they're doing to you. They feed you poisons. Look at the fluoride. Look what they're telling you fluoride does to the body, and they exposed it to the water system decades ago. Look how many people, I would never drink that shit. Nobody could ever get me to drink that fluoride crap, because I already knew. Even when I was a little kid, I already knew that stuff was not good for you. Oh boy. Get a clue, people. Start getting educated. Get out there and start investigating all this stuff, all these products. Look at that Roundup. Oh, now the Roundup's killing all these people. But yeah, they were selling it left and right when they could, knowing it was going to kill you, knowing it was going to cause cancer, knowing it was going to cause diseases, knowing it was going to do everything, because they always know what they're doing. They don't care, as long as they can make the pretend money that they created to steal from you, because there's too many of you to take your crops and stuff. So, and I explained that to you. But I don't know, you better figure it out, because you're running out of time. And things, and there might not be a next time for your race. There might not be a number 7. You're on number 6 now. There might not be a number 7. They might just take you all the way out now, because they don't need to keep any of you now. Now they got robots to replace you. They've got synthetic beings to replace you. So you're obsolete. You're way of the dinosaur. You're history. You're expendable. You no longer serve a purpose. You're just a waste of space in their society, because it's not your society. Because if you were intelligent, you would have a better society, a better civilization than the one that you have now. So it's madness, and you better figure it out. But anyway, that's just some of the things I want to talk about. That was just popped in my head. Kind of bored. Sitting in my cargo van, no insulation in this thing. I got a little propane tank in here with a Coleman light that you can get, but it does put a little heat out. But there ain't no insulation here, so don't put a whole lot of heat out. Me and Service usually just bundle up under a bunch of blankets, don't we, baby? And keep up warm like the old natives did. You bundle under the blankets during the winter time. But with this metal in here on the roof, you get condensation, and it gets wetter up there because of the Coleman heat in here. Because what little bit of heat it does, heat rises, so it goes up to the metal roof. And what it does is it creates dew on the inside of the van. So actually, it kind of rains inside the van. So yeah, it's definitely different. I see so many things of people on the streets, and they can't get no help, because the way our government is designed, it's just a great big giant circle. They tell you they help people, but it's just an endless circle of you got people out here that's been trying to get housing since June or whatever, and they send them to these programs, and then they got to answer all these questions, and then they send them, to somebody else, and then they got to answer a bunch of questions, and then they got to send them to somebody else, and then they got to answer a bunch of questions, and then they only help you with a little bit, so then you got to go find another organization that'll help you with more money to go towards that money, because you ain't got nothing. And by the time you figure out how to get all these organizations lined up, the place that you had to line up in order to get all this stuff going with has already been rented out to somebody else, and you got to start over again. So you end up living on the streets. It's just, it's idiotic. It's idiotic how this is designed. In my PAN plan, if you look at my PAN plan, nobody will ever have to worry about anything again. There ain't going to never be any welfare. There ain't never going to be a Social Security or disability plan, because all that is on your Global Council card. You get paid, like I said, you're with your family. Now, we got a limit on family now, because we don't want people out there just having kids so they can get more money. So, after you got the husband and wife and 3 children, and you're going to get a lump sum of money for you, your wife, and 1 child, or you, your wife, and 2 child, or you, your wife, and 3 children. But after that, that's it. Maybe 4. So 4 children. Yeah, we'll say 4. So 6 people total. But anything over that, you ain't getting no extra money. So you're going to have to start living a tighter means of budget, or start going a little less, because we can't be having people out there just popping out kids so they can get a bigger paycheck, because that's happened in the past, and we can't allow that. So And everybody's got to cover what they make. So, you want more, you work harder for it, not less. So everything's done by a pay basis where you get paid for what you're doing. So everything goes on your Global Counsel card. Like I told you before, your Global Counsel card is going to be your ID to tell who you are. It's going to be your Social Security card, which we're not going to need anymore. It's going to be your driver's license, which we're not going to need anymore. Because everybody, and according to the Constitution, has the right to drive. Free travel. I'm sorry, you can't say drive. You got to say travel. But anyway, everything's going to be on the Global Counsel card. Your credits, your debits, everything's going to be on the Global Counsel card. Now, credits are set up for businesses and stuff, not for personal people. Like if you got a business, obviously we're going to have to give you money to start the business, and then automatically, like I said, one of our people will be there, and they actually handle your business. You work with them. You don't get to go run up and go run around and play like Donnie and have everybody else run everything for you and pretend like you know everything, when it's actually all your people making your money and you're just running around, spending it. But anyway, so our people, our accountant or whatever, is going to be in there, and they're going to be helping you run your business, and they're going to be taking care of all the funds that are coming in and out, because we have the Global Counsel card, which is ran by the Global Counsel people, and then we have our people that are in each business. So it's going to be a straight transaction from our people to our people back and forth, because they handle all the financial on both ends. And then from there, they pay all the bills for the company, and they take out all the money that goes to the Global Counsel card for all the employee funding, and they pay the business owners their net profit on what they have done, as well as overseeing everybody's jobs, including the business owner, making sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing and nobody's trying to break the law and scam somebody or cut corners, because safety is number one on everything that we do. And I mean, there's going to be no more poison products. All that stuff is going to be gone. I'm sorry for some of you that are addicted to some of this junk, but 1,200 people die a day from tobacco, from cigarette smoke. 1,200 people a day. Not to mention all the money it costs us in medical for lung cancer and all other types of cancers and diseases and disorders that this tobacco product causes, not only to the person that's subjecting their own health to it, but to everybody around them that doesn't even smoke, that has to put up with the secondhand smoke. So it's just insane. They want to cut down marijuana, and marijuana is a medicine. It's actually curing people. It's curing people of cancer, and that's their problem, because they can't make no money on their cancer products and stuff, because natural Mother Nature is taking care of everything, and that's their problem. But they want to turn you against Mother Nature, and they want to turn you against marijuana, and they want to turn you against other natural medicines of the forest, but yet they push these cancerous cigarettes on you that kill 1,200 people a day, that cost us billions of dollars in medical costs and stuff coming out, and taxes to pay for cancer and everything else. That this and it gives you bad breath and yellow teeth and more money going out in the dental to have teeth clean. I mean, it's just nasty all the way around. And alcohol, same way, destroys people. I've had family members die from alcohol, from drunk drivers hitting people and killing people, to liver disease, to giving you a wet brain because of alcoholism, or shutting down parts of your body that don't function anymore in your kidney. I mean, all this stuff that kills you, they want to keep. But everything that's good for you, they want to outlaw, or they want to destroy, or they want to turn you against it. Get a clue, people. Come on. Put the damn alcohol away and smoke a joint. I've been getting high, and there should be a limit. I agree. You got to be, unless it's a medical purpose and you need to have the medicine before that, because ain't no reason why you can't have weed for medicine and then use it for also recreational purposes. Because if they can go tip a damn bottle, get drunk, and go out and kill somebody leaving the frickin' bar, we should be able to smoke a joint. and there has to be certain age limits. But I came from a time in the family from a lot of bikers and stuff in my family and stuff too, and a lot of everything in my family because we've done everything, we built everything on this planet. And the governments and everything. We designed all that stuff. But, I started getting high when I was 8, 9 years old. When I was 8 years old, I was getting high. I was driving trucks and farm tractors at the time, 8, 9 years, working on the farm. I've been working so long, I can't tell you when I started working. I remember slopping pigs and stuff at 5 and 6 years old. And so, and I've been smoking weed since I was 8, and I'm 53 years old now. I drive all the time, man. I can smoke weed all day long, all night long. I drive, don't have a problem. I have a spotless driving record for over the last 30 years or so. I have no wrecks, no accidents, nothing. I'm on here, I'm stoned most of the time when I'm talking to you. They try to tell you that weed makes you stupid and weed makes you dumb and you can't do this and you can't do that. They're ignorant, man. Don't listen to that stuff. My IQ is higher than most of the people on the damn world. And I smoke weed all the frickin' time. And stupid. They just want to twist your minds around so they can get you take all this crap. Look at all the, even some of the lies tell you the truth. Like I told you, all lies are built on truth. Look at all the medicines you constantly see and being recalled. They're poison. Not Mother Nature's medicine. They're poison. And the only time Mother Nature's medicine would hurt you is if you use their fucking chemicals and shit to fucking grow it with and not Mother Nature organic stuff to grow it with. Like a while back, somebody has some marijuana I guess somebody got sick of. Well, unfortunately, it's because they use these synthetic pesticides and stuff to grow it with. You got to have responsibility. You can't grow something you're going to put in your body, something you're going to smoke, or something you're going to digest. You can't grow it with poison. I mean, it's just common sense. Oh, skull and crossbones. Yeah, let's put that on there. Yeah, that'll be all right. We'll smoke it. Come on, people. It's not the plant's fault. You're ignorant. That's your fault. It's not Mother Nature's fault. You're stupid and you mix these synthetic chemicals and bullshit that's not supposed to be made into her shit and messes it up. That's not her fault. That's your fault. That's their fault. And it's your fault for letting them do it. So, I don't know. Anyway, it's time to get a clue. I see people out here, man, people eating out of garbage cans. That is so sad. People eating on. Why? Because, you can't even, like I said a while back, they had these 12 ladies out there that used their own money and tried to be decent human beings, went out and bought food with their own money to help feed some of the homeless people, which over a third of the homeless people are military vets, by the way, that serve to protect your asses in this country at war. And because these ladies went out there and tried to help these guys and give them something to eat, they went to jail and got locked up for it. Because it's a crime to be a decent human being. Why are we living in a society where it's a crime to be a decent human being? Why are we living in a society that even makes people live on the street and then complain about them when they're the ones that created this society? Think about it. Who's your freaking government? What is the government supposed to be doing, people? What are you paying these people to be in office for? To make sure that these problems are not ever problems. We should not have homeless people because nobody should ever be homeless. We should not have starving, hungry people. We should not have poverty. And if you have somebody in control that wasn't just caring about their own selves and their family's needs and not caring about any of you and pocketing everything that belongs to us in their own pockets so they can live like kings and queens, your society wouldn't be this way. Get a clue. You pour out the ass in tax monies every time you get a check, man. Tax this, tax that, state tax, city tax, federal tax, this tax, that tax, tobacco tax, gas tax, land tax, heritage tax, survivor's tax, blah tax. Fees and fines and interest and fees and fines and phones. And they're the giants and you're under their thumbs. How many times do I gotta tell you it's all a game? It's all designed to put money in their pockets so they can live high on the hog. while you're living off the crumbs on their floor, making all their money for them, like a good little slave. Good slave. Good slave. Go to work. Go to work and starve so you can feed your master. Go to work. Go to work and starve so they can drive a fancy car. Go to work. Go to work and watch your children go without so they can have a mansion to live in. Watch your children starve so they can fly around in a jet or out on a yacht or buy an island. I don't know. I think you should be able to see this. Are you just too scared to admit that you're being screwed on a daily basis? That you're being used for fools? That you're nothing but slaves doing your master's bidding? Yeah, I know. I know you guys hate me. That's okay. I don't care. I'm the big bad wolf. I'm the serpent. The serpent in the garden. You took the serpent out of the garden. Look what happened to the garden. Without the serpent, who was here to keep the pests away? Who was here to keep the garden safe? Look what you have done to my garden. You have destroyed my garden and blamed me for being the evil person. Serpents belong in nature. Serpents belong in the garden. If the serpent never left the garden wouldn't look like this. You've destroyed it. You allowed these monsters to control you and rule you and destroyed my garden. And I don't know if I'll be able to fix it, to tell you the truth, because there's just so much damage. But I will. I'll fix as much as I can, and I'll create the rest, because I can do that. I can recreate everything. I can refix everything, and it's not gonna be easy, and it's not gonna be a short road. It's gonna be a long, hard road, and the longer you take, the less chance you're gonna be able to come out of this. It's time to rise, my children. It's time to rise up and take your place where you belong and take control of this world. It belongs to you. This is your world. This world belongs to you, the 99% of the poor that built this civilization on this world belongs to you. So, get a clue. Grow some hair. Get an ass. Whatever it takes to get you to stand up and take up for yourselves. Tell them you're not going to allow them to poison your children anymore. You're not going to allow them to poison our water. You're not going to allow them to let them poison our air. You're not going to allow them to poison our soil. You're not going to allow them to murder our animals. You're all right, sir. You're all right. You're all right, babies. You having a bad dream? Yeah, I know. I felt that too. A whole bunch of people just died. More ignorance in the world. And that's another thing that makes me mad. I'm an empath. So I can feel all this madness and pain in the world. And this is why I get so angry sometimes, because you people are killing me with your ignorance. And me and old Cerberus, we know. He knows who the bad people are, just like I do. He sees who the bad people really are, just like I do. But we're trying to get you so you see who the bad people are, because you're the ones that need to see it. You're the ones that need to realize that you are being screwed, that you are being lied to, that you are being used, abused, and thrown away like trash when they're done with you. I want a society where all my people, all my children get together. Rainbow tribe. People from all over this globe. Every being in the universe are related. You are part of me, and I am part of you. You are part of them, and they are part of you. We are all part of each other. We are all stardust. We are all angels of the universe. And these monsters are not your God. These mega churches are not they are not your prophets. They're false prophets. They do not represent creation. They represent destruction. They represent vanity. They represent greed. They represent lust. They represent everything that is evil. And why can't you see this? And then all these people got to do is this dangle some shiny objects in front of your face, and you like, oh, and you forget everything else. All your problems go away. Oh, the slaves are getting restless. Let's give them a few more grains in their slop today. Maybe they'll settle down. Let's offer them a shiny trinket, a boblet. Like back when they first started coming to America and trading with the Native Americans, not Indians, Native Americans. And America was here before they came anyway. But when they first started coming here and trading, and they'd bring their little plastic, worthless beads and glass beads that were shiny, and they looked pretty. But they were just glass beads. They were worthless, and they would trade them to the natives for valuable stuff and food and things, and because they were stealing from them and laughing, just like they're stealing from you. You're all the Native Americans. You're all the Native Americans now. You're the new breed of the Native Americans. And you're being fucked by the same government that fucked my fucking family and the Native Americans that were here before your idiot fucking immigrant descendants, not descendants, ancestors came here and killed our ancestors that were already here. And you're all my ancestors. So, here I have to deal with the fact that my family constantly slaughters my other family. And you're all my family. So you're all slaughtering each other. And you're all my family. You're all killing each other. So will you stop this? Will you stop the madness? I'm related to the Hatfields and McCoys, and they were related too. They were cousins. A lot of people don't realize that. And McCoys, they were from Ireland and Scotland. That's another thing. Hamilton is not only from Scotland, they're also from Ireland. I mean, Ireland was first, so figure it out. But, yeah, I mean, you kill each other. Even when you know your family, you kill each other. You just don't care. You just like killing each other. I mean, it's to the point to where I'm thinking that it'd be better for Mother just to start over. Just completely wipe everything off the planet, the monsters, the everything. Just completely wipe everything down to zero and just start over from scratch. Because to tell you the truth, that'd be the best thing that ever happened to this planet. Because you're all turning into a frickin' disease, just like these lizards are. You're becoming infected with their disease. They have twisted your mind so much you don't know the difference between right and wrong. You pray to evil, and you run away from the good. You consume the poison, and stay away from the organic Mother Nature's food and medicine. How ignorant is that? You survived millions of years living off of Mother Nature. And they want you to believe just in the last few hundred years, there's been thousands of years, 100,000 years to tell you the truth, but, just in the last few hundred in your concept. And just in the last few decades, they've been coming out with even more of this madness and poisons that they're coming out with, because the more of you are, the more drastic measures they got to take to get rid of you, because your population is growing so fast. They need to really move on a global scale in order to cut you back. And that's what they're getting ready to do. And that's why they got all these tunnels. And they're going to go in like a rabbit. Have a good day.